Here.
Would you, okay. Christie, call and roll.
Commissioner Nico.
Here.
Commissioner Bennett.
Here.
Commissioner Raymond.
Here.
Commissioner Brewer. And Chairman DeBro.
Here. All right. Do we have any adjustments to the agenda? Okay, can I get a motion to either, to confirm the agenda?
Make a motion to confirm the agenda.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Parrish.
Yes.
Commissioner Nico.
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer. Commissioner Raymond.
Yes.
Commissioner Hallwood.
Yes.
Commissioner Bennett.
Aye.
Chairman DeBro.
Yes. Do we have any adjustments to the minutes of the meeting? If not, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
Motion to approve.
A second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Parrish.
Yes.
Commissioner Nico.
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer. Commissioner Raymond.
Yes.
I said yes. Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Commissioner Hallwood.
Yes.
Commissioner Bennett.
Aye.
Chairman DeBro.
Here, yes. I'm sorry, I don't have the agenda up there.
Okay.
All right, new business. We have a presentation by Bob Barber of Orion Planning regarding the sub-districts, the mixed-use districts, et cetera, relative to the Aloha District. Bob?
Yes, sir. Commissioners, thank you. It's good to be back in town, and I'm Bob Barber with Orion Planning Design. Again, good to see everyone. I've met everyone, I think, except Mr. Raymond. I don't think I've been before you before as a commissioner. And as you know, we are in the very ending stages of the major implementation provisions of Envision Diamond Head 2040. One of those implementation provisions was to, a number of them, it's remarkable the things that Diamond Head has done with the planning process that we completed several years ago with various projects. I just have to take a quick aside. I'm a runner. One of the things that came out of the plan was the separated bike lane all the way around, which was the community's idea, and we facilitated it in the planning process, and a running path. Anyway, the last time I was here, a couple months ago, and we were adopting the code, I took the following morning and ran that trail all the way around. It was an awesome experience. You have the longest separated bike lane in the state of Mississippi due to that project right there. It is a real asset and an amenity. And that's just one thing. You're constructing roads and you're doing all kinds of things, not without its challenges, I understand that, but the effort at implementation has been remarkable in our experience, and of course you've been recognized that for an award. Nonetheless, I don't want to take a lot of time, Mr. Chairman, but I do want to take a few moments to address kind of a last major piece of the implementation program for Diamond Head 2040. The last time I was here, you adopted the rewrite of the zoning code, and you're working through that now, and it'll be adjusted as you go along and as you find things you want to adjust, yes, but the major adoption was completed. One segment of it was not completed. It's been kind of held out as a point of discussion, and that is the town center mixed-use area, or the what we have been referencing as the Aloha District. They're one and the same. And the purpose of me being before you tonight is just to kind of review it with you, not asking for action, not asking for adoption, just review the provisions here so you can understand what that district is all about, and then over the next couple of months, as we refine it and come up with a final proposal for it to get before you, you will be more oriented to that. So, 4 quick things, or 3 quick things. First of all, where are we, and what am I doing here tonight? I just explained that. Let me give you just a little background to tell you how we got to a mixed-use, form-based district for downtown Diamond Head. I'll give you that background. I'll orient you to the provisions of it, and then any comment or feedback we might have at the end, or anything Pat corrects me on or wants me to interject. So, the mixed-use form base, I'm gonna refer to it as the Aloha District. Some reference has been made to Town Center District. They're one and the same. The mixed-use district that we're discussing had its origins, at least with our group, from what is called the Linfield Hunter Plan. So back in 2019, right before the pandemic, the city commissioned the Linfield Hunter Group to draw up a site plan, no zoning, no anything, just a vision for a town center. And that's what I'm displaying on the screen there. This is the kind of an overview of the Linfield Hunter Plan. It's only on the west side of Jex here. Just kind of showing how can Diamond Head create a town center. The actual plan itself is, if I can advance, there it is, sorry. That's the actual Linfield Hunter Plan. So it had townhomes, it had a town center, mixed use area here, it had various street layouts and so forth in there. So when the city engaged us to do the comprehensive plan, we were handed this and they said, hey, write a code for this immediately. Before you do anything else, write a zoning district that would implement that idea, which we did. It was adopted. It was written into the zoning code. That was step 1. Step 2 occurred when we began to do the comprehensive plan itself. And we began to do community engagement. Of course, we planned the entire city of Diamond Head, but right now we're focusing on just this downtown gateway into the city. When we engaged the community, there was strong input for a higher, a more conventional downtown, traditional downtown environment, less sprawl, more compact, mixed-use kind of development. So it just reaffirmed or ratified what Linfield Hunter Plan was doing. So we continued on. So we're dealing with this area here. This is out of the future land use plan. So it says that this area in Diamond Head is for all practical purposes downtown. How is it to be planned and constructed over time? So we began to experiment with the vision based on community input. You know, this is over on East Aloha. if some of these big sprawling parking lots that are rarely ever filled, if ever filled, were backfilled with buildings, if we had a walkable street here, what could that concept look like and how could it work? And so that's what we modeled in that instance in the plan. This is a plan view, so this is East Aloha here, and you see buildings pulled up tight to the street. And of course, this type of development is very, very different from this. And in order to govern it, you have to have a code to do so, and you have to place parameters or boundaries on a map. And how exactly would that work? So the code, this is the existing zoning district, zoning map. This is on the west side of Gex. It's all conventional C1 general commercial, which produces that you cannot, under the current code in C1, do anything remotely similar to what we're talking about in the plan. C1 is going to produce this kind of suburban development, which is not what was desired. So, and this was from a prior presentation. I went through the reasons why in the code, and you couldn't do it and so forth, and so I'm not going to dwell on that. The question becomes, how then do you craft a code that would produce more of the vision that we're talking about? So I'm going to step and get my paper here. So conventional zoning relies almost exclusively on how property is used. It rarely addresses the form of the development, the way it's laid out. So in this kind of situation, we are concerned about how the property is used, but we're also concerned very much about the form of the development. And the way we get at the form to achieve mixed use is through this slide I'm showing, and I think you have this in your handout. These are building types. So again, the use is important, but it's secondary to some degree to the actual form of the building. So you will see in your handout that in this proposed district, actually you have the district in text format, it's just not on your zoning map. You will see several, and I'm referencing this page right here, which is the building types. You will see several sub-districts. Across the top, you see ADMU, ADLM, ADTF, and so forth. What that indicates is Aloha District Mixed Use, Aloha District Live Make, Aloha District Townhome, Aloha District Waterfront, and Aloha District Conventional Commercial. Conventional commercial being akin to what is out there right now. And then as you see, these are just types of buildings, and you can see where that building type is permitted and in what sub-district across to the side. So you have building types. We are concerned about the building type. Can you find what you're looking? Are you in the right spot? Okay. You have building types, and you have them associated with those sub-districts. Now, again, this is in your zoning code. You've adopted it, but it's not mapped. So theoretically, it doesn't exist. The ability to do it exists, but it doesn't exist. The question then becomes how to map it. What are the boundaries? What are the parameters? And that's what's under discussion now. So as I show you, as I advance the slides, let me get to the slide I want. Okay, this is just indicating this is the form, this is the form of a building we're looking for. This building right here, it could be condos, it could have retail on the bottom, it could be a variety of things. It could be just all sorts of uses, but the form of that building is very, very attractive as opposed to a single-use sprawl parking lot, which is very valuable. I'm not discounting the value of this, and it is appropriate, but in terms of constructing a conventional downtown, it won't do it. So again, we mentioned the building types. When you adopted the code, you did not adopt this map, and that's kind of what we're discussing now. And when I get to the right spot, okay, here's where I want to go. This is the way the downtown of Diamond Head is zoned today. C1, all this pink area here. The proposal that is just review draft, and we've already, through our discussions today, have been determining how to tweak this. The proposal would be to have the mixed-use buildings here. So when you look at your building types, you'd have mixed-use, retail down, other types of uses up. Townhomes are in yellow. This is the waterfront area over here, which has waterfront recreational uses and so forth to achieve a waterfront. And then this dark red area, this is classified as conventional commercial. So it would be kind of similar in form to the way you see it today, similar in form and use, because its likelihood of change over time is minimal. So the point is, we have a district in the code that you adopted in text form. There is no map associated with it. This is a proposal that was produced based largely on the Linfield plan and what came out of the comprehensive plan. And that is what we're trying to work through. So Pat asked for us to meet with developers and business owners and talk through some of the elements of this, which we did, we've done today. And they provided certain comments and critiques that we're totally open to. And then we're presenting this to the commission. I do want to make one quick point. If Diamond Head maintains its vision of a downtown in some form, to some extent, it will have to implement a code of this nature. The likelihood of it happening in the absence of such a code is very, very thin. So that's kind of what this map, there's a little disclaimer here. This is your zoning map today. This is all zone C1. This was the proposal of the Linfield plan. It's not adopted. And we say if you want to proceed with your vision of a downtown, we need to get something of mixed use on the map in the appropriate space. I hope that all that made sense. If it didn't, please tell me. I will go back and explain. If you have questions, I can clarify. And Pat, you guide me if as needed.
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Can you summarize or go back? I know we passed several months back building height restriction.
That's a great point. So there was concern at the time. Of course, y'all were dealing with a rezoning case that was sort of ahead of everything, premature, and that height was a concern. And I think when you passed the code that everything in the Aloha district was limited to 35 feet. Am I correct?
Well, everything in the city of Diamond Head was 35 feet.
The entirety of the city,
That's
not
correct.
just this district.
That
was
is
limited
correct.
to 35
That
feet.
is correct.
Now, this district contemplates buildings taller than 35 feet. The Bow, 35 feet is 2.5 stories, correct? Yeah. Yeah, so some of these mixed-use buildings, you're looking at three-story buildings. Where are they appropriate? Where's a four-story hotel or dwelling unit? Where is that appropriate? So that, does that answer your question?
Right.
Yeah.
But I was wondering what the restrictions was on. Was it just the mixed use or is it commercial? But you said it's everything.
It's,
So that restricts Diamond Head from getting a hotel.
at this point in time, yes. Anything taller than 35 feet, yes. But we do anticipate having some areas. The concern at that point in time was close to residential areas having a building in excess of 35 feet. All right.
Right.
We're looking at, say, to the west at the town center, whatever we want to call that, the west of Jex. We don't have the issues, too many of the issues of residential areas there. So does it make sense to go beyond 35 feet in those areas when you don't have the problems and the concerns? I say yes, but that would have to go through a zoning change or a text amendment to change that, to allow it within certain districts or sub-districts, allow that, okay? So we feel that accommodations can be made to get that kind of development with the hotels, et cetera, or maybe some office towers or whatever, down the line. But do that, but not butting up against residential, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, this is supposed to be an interactive session here, okay? And that includes the audience. So if the audience has any questions, you don't have to sign up to question. The only thing we ask, this is being live streamed also on Diamond Head's YouTube channel. So this can be used for other people to come back and look at it that didn't have the opportunity to see, come to the meeting, and use that as a reference point. So if there are questions or concerns or comments that you want to make, we ask that you come to the microphone and say that, and we would appreciate that. Okay.
Yes.
So did you say you spoke to some businesses today or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Developers, landowners
Developers, okay.
Yeah.
That might show interest in,
that, right, have direct interest in what's happening.
and they gave you some feedback and
They did.
can you share any of it with us?
You know, the feed, no hard provisions at the moment, but trying to understand the mixed use and the difference in building a traditional shopping center versus a mixed use building and how it would work, and thinking through, all right, will that work on that site? Will that work? How can we? And then, of course, looking at the boundaries on the proposed map, well, no, that's not a good commercial. Well, this ought to be mixed use over here as well.
Mhm.
I would call the comments generalized
Yeah,
in that regard. It was informational in nature.
okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Pat, I have a question.
Go ahead.
The builders or developers that were met with, are they local, are they commercial, are they residential developers?
These are the ones we met with today, and it was not all of them, but we did meet with a few of them, and they are landowners in these areas that will be impacted by the commercial rezoning, the C1 rezoning.
Okay, I thought y'all, okay, so y'all met with landowners, not just commercial developers?
No, we met with the property owners. That's where we start first, is with the property owners. Now, as developers come in, we would meet with them to talk with what is allowed, what is not allowed, et cetera. But we wanted to get with the property owners first, since they have the investment in the property, and discuss with them. And as you probably know, some of the property owners are also developers too, so two birds with one stone there.
again, the text of the code, the building types, all of that, you've adopted. It's in the zoning code. It's just not on the ground in the form of a map where the boundaries are. There are boundaries, but the boundaries are C1, not mixed-use development, which is what we're considering. And you know, another factor we discussed, the streets you're building, that western side over there it's a beautiful, I mean, it's got in gravel form, but I can tell it's going to be an absolute beautiful streetscape over there. Going
Yes,
through on the west side.
The Park 10 lane
Yes,
and the
I mean, it
connection
was
of
like,
Leisure Time Drive to
wow.
Park 10.
And so the need to code it well, to ensure that there's good solid coding to protect that investment on both sides for the entirety of the community and future residences, it really raises it up a notch priority, in my view anyway.
So this was the first step in our process to getting there, to meet with landowners, business owners, and now to get their input, and now to meet with you, the Planning Commission, and the residents of Diamond Head. Hopefully they'll go back and watch this, and it'll start. And so this is going to be a long process, but this is the first step in that. So it's going to be like, okay, we'll look at it this way and see how we can do this and how we can implement this and accommodate it, because the landowners know what businesses are looking for, okay? What the hotels are looking for, what the other business owners are looking for. So, and if we can accommodate that within the comprehensive plan and within the zoning ordinances that we have here, then I think we're on the way to a good deal. We also learned something as far as making sure that everybody in the process is involved, from the landowners, the business owners, the residents. Everybody's got a stake in this. So we want to make sure that every one of the stakeholders are heard from, their concerns addressed. We may not solve everything, not address every concern, but we'll certainly try to make accommodations where we can.
I would also add, Mr. Chairman, just, you know, Google form-based code, or you'll come up with tons of examples from everywhere to compare and think about, and explanatory articles. If you're looking at your computer in the evening, there's just tons of resources that'll do a far better job than I'm probably doing, laying out before you what you have. But it is a growing and common, not uncommon practice to approach quality development in the manner that we have proposed here.
Makes sense to me.
Thank you, Bob.
Any other questions, thoughts, comments? Again, no action requested. We're just opening it up. Next steps would be to continue to consult with Pat and the community, and then ultimately in the months ahead we would bring you what we would think would be an appropriate set of boundaries for that district that addresses all the concerns, the height concerns, the use concerns, and so forth, for your consideration at that time.
All right. Any further questions from the commissioners? Anybody like to speak? Or any questions? All right.
My plan is to run the circle in the morning at about, I hope to be out about 6:30 a.m. So if anybody wants to join me, I'll meet you here, 6:30, City Hall, parking lot.
I'll be done by then, so.
No.
Let's make sure nobody runs over.
I'll be at work already.
I'll be at the soup kitchen, but I'll see if I can meet you.
next item on the agenda, and forgive me on pronunciation of the name, it's Lauren Hanat. And Blair Nutting have filed an application requesting a variance from the zoning ordinance, Article 3.4.8, to allow the construction of a pool enclosure within 4 feet of the side yard property line. The property address is 7830 Alawai Avenue. Tax parcel number is 067Q-0-36-220.000. The property is in an R6 zoning district. The side yard setback is 10 feet. The variance requested is 6 feet. The case file number is 2024-00364. What you got for us?
Okay, very good. First of all, I want to start out by saying that the notice for this variance and for this public hearing was advertised in the Seacoast Echo, was posted at both of the bulletin boards here at City Hall, was posted on the premises of the residence that is requesting the variance. So all the notifications have been mailed out, and also mailed out to the adjoining property owners. Okay, so the legal notifications have been met on this.
Okay.
Ms. Annette and Mr. Nutting, they've got a swimming pool in their backyard. They want to put what's commonly referred to as a lanai, a pool enclosure. It'll be a screened-in enclosure. But it will also be attached to the house because it doesn't have the structure to withstand any winds. It has to have something, lanais have to be attached to the house. So, as you know, anything attached to the house has to have a 10-foot setback on the side yard. With swimming pools, the water has to be set back 10 feet from the side, but the decking for the pool can be within 4 feet of the side. So therefore, we've got a problem, a difference in between what, if it's an addition, which it will be, it's connected to the home, it's an addition, 10 foot, but if it's a decking, it only has to be 4 foot. So that's why they're requesting the variance for this. And Mr. Nutting is here with us tonight, and then we have some people that want to speak, and we have them listed here too. So,
All right.
Blair? Yep, please.
Yeah, so we put a pool in the backyard and realized that there's too many bugs, so we want to put an enclosure over it. And it's one of those black I-beam enclosure. It's going to be attached to the house, like Mr. Rich said. And it's going to go around the concrete and be attached to the concrete. It's going to be, it's going to come straight off the eave of the house. It's going to be attached to the eave, and then come straight off, flat roof with a screened-in roof as well as sides, like you've seen all around the city. Yeah, it'll be black.
So the enclosure is gonna be on the edge of the decking?
Yeah, it'll be
Right,
on
not,
the,
and then attached to the decking and not in the yard, right?
that's right, it'll be attached to the concrete.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's what it.
And also, I was
So-
looking at this picture, and
Yes?
it says it's 4 foot between the decking and the fence. I know pictures don't really do justice, but that looks a lot less than 4 foot.
Well, it's, you don't have the depth perception that
Okay.
you do when you're looking at it. But I understand your concern.
Right, so it's been
Yes.
measured?
Yes, it
Okay.
has.
Any more questions, Commissioner?
So the roof is made out of screen also?
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like, it just connects like screen to the concrete?
yeah.
There's
Well,
no
it's,
like half brick wall or?
no, it's just, steel I-beams coming up.
Okay.
Every, I'm not sure what the spacing is, but then screen in between, yeah, and screen top, screen sides.
Okay.
All right. Any more questions from the commissioners?
I don't have any more right now. Let me ask one more question.
All right.
So is it possible for you to connect it like further over on the decking? If
And
you
not-
weren't able to get the variance,
Yes, yeah, we could, yes, yep. Yeah, it could be off the house and just be a structure all to itself, could be. But that would waste some of the space on the house side.
okay. So this picture right here, this is the side where you need the variance. So could
Yes.
you place it closer to the pool
Yeah, we could.
and not need the variance? I'm just, I just want to,
It might be a little tight on that side, though. I can't quite
Sure.
remember what the distance is there.
okay.
Yeah, you may not be able
Does
to
it-
just walk around the pool there.
Yeah.
Does it affect like, maintenance or, because it would be too close to the pool? I don't really,
Well, I might not be able to walk on that side if I moved it over.
okay. Okay.
All right. Any further questions? All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
Appreciate it. We have, is it Ricky Larson? Like to speak? If you could give us, give us your address as well.
Yeah. Well, Ricky Larson, and I'm speaking on behalf, I live in Pascagoula, but I'm speaking on behalf of my daughter and my son-in-law who are both deaf, and their property adjoins this gentleman's property.
Okay.
And so, not only with the variance setback request of this unit that he plans to build, the whole drainage scenario of the entire pool. The pool's been built, but at this stage, if I may, I came here at the request of my daughter because for 2 years before this pool was built, they had experienced extreme drainage coming from that property, which resulted in French drains, which resulted in swales, costs on their part. And so she tells me that, sends me a video, and during the construction change, all the red dirt was washing into her swale running through her yard. So I came down and I spoke to a gentleman, and I told him that they had not, I looked over the fence, they had not even installed a silk fence. And when I came down, I asked if they had submitted their drainage plan along with the pool. And that was something that they were going to check on. And because of the existing slope of the land and the way her house adjoins and the neighbor's house adjoin, it was already tapered that way. So if that pool just saying is 18 by 36 by an average 6 foot deep, that was 42 cubic yards of dirt that they took out and built up the yard even higher. So now that yard goes, and in the last maybe three foot, it's tapered right down to her property. And of course, when they built the pool, you're not going to drain slope your concrete towards the pool. So it's going to now run to this elevated area that then is going to just skate through their yards. They're already having problems. And then to put this structure requiring a setback, that the properties do this, so while it may tie into the eave of the house, and that's generally, say, 8 foot off the ground, but the way the bird's eye view, it's going to look 20 foot up in the air because they're high here, he's high there, and you're looking through the slope of the land. My main concern is that I don't know what the process is of approvals in the permitting process for pools along the way, what's signed off on, or even if a drainage proposal is required or was approved or disapproved or whatever. But just today, I go and I look, and the overflow pipe for the pool, I don't know if it's a saltwater pool or a chlorine pool, but the overflow pipe is the prettiest little blue pipe you see, if that's what it is. The overflow comes right out of the pool deck and runs and stops right at the neighbor's fence, which all that, from two different angles, you know, the saltwater or chlorine is going to kill those 50-year-old cypress trees that are in her backyard, as well as any other vegetation in the neighbor's yard or my daughter and son-in-law's yard. Can anybody provide me with a copy of what the approval processes are in building a pool in Diamond Head and what's required along the way? I know it's after the fact, and I know it's easy to say, well, the pool's already been built, but I want to be on record that I don't agree with. First, I want to see what the approval process was. It's going to be a long-term issue that is potentially a legal issue because it should have been addressed to begin with. No threats, nothing like that. I'm just a concerned parent. They're grown, but they can't speak for themselves. So,
How long ago was this pool built?
it started right after school let out, and has been going on until the pool builder posted the final backyard shots of the pool just in the last few weeks. So the grass has been, it's been sodded, concrete's there, all that's recently. Of course, we won't know the impact of it because we've been in a drought. Hardly any rain's come through. But it's not only that, this one yard creates a twofold problem. Drainage coming to her back fence, and then the slope of the land going away from her that then blows through that fence and drains in the natural drainage pipe that runs to the street. Well, prior to any of this construction, that was a 4-foot wide river running through there on these good rains that we get. Now, another 42 cubic yards of dirt added to this property, really to the detriment of the neighbors' properties, is going to make that 4-foot wide ditch potentially 5-foot wide because the street won't be able to handle it. So it's going to back up and get wider. Where her bedrooms and such are right there, fairly close, weren't impeded by the 3 or 4 foot wide run. So the whole thing's a calamity of errors, in my opinion.
So all the dirt extracted from the pool, you're saying, is in the yard now?
I can't say that it was all of it.
I think the other picture of it.
But I will say that you can see it quite a bit of it. And, my daughter's fences. Like, I'm looking over the fence. So all that dug out, put here, flattened off.
So on this picture, where would your daughter's son-in-law's house be? On the other side? Or is it on-
Back here.
Okay.
Look, right back here. This is the neighbor's fence. Can I just go here with the
If y'all look at page 16 in your handout, it's,
You're going,
you'll see the Rodriguez property there, 2 houses to the left.
So is the, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but we're just addressing the variance for the, no, I'm just, right?
Yeah,
Just wanna make sure- okay. So is granting the variance for the enclosure going to cause more drainage problems or?
well, the drainage problems already exist.
Right.
To what extent, we don't know because we've been in a drought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to let the neighbor who is hearing and can speak for herself. I'm just speaking for
Sure.
them. So whether it will or not, in my opinion, it's in place already. It's 4 foot, close to the fence. Where he wants to put the enclosure, the base is already there. And so it's already encroached, which necessitates the need for a variance. Now he wants to come after the fact, so to speak, and that's not uncommon, to put up a structure. So it's, that slope with a screen roof, sloping it to the fence, it's gonna be 4 foot from the fence. That rain is gonna hit the concrete and go. Well, the structure itself may not increase that chance or decrease it, I don't know.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. That's all I wanted to say. But whose department could tell me or provide me with a copy of what the permit approval process and sign-off approvals along the build of the project, in this case, the pool? Is there one? Was my request to put the silt fence up, that was done. But at the same time was my request to find out what the drainage plan, whether it be culvert, lift station to the street or whatever, but I just don't think there's been any effort to mitigate any of that, especially with the overflow running right through, out of his yard and right to the fence of the neighbor.
As far as that, you would probably, I guess, need to call the city and make a request for that
Public
information.
records
Public
request,
records
yes.
request.
You could definitely do a public record request for any records related to the permitting or the inspection process with respect to that pool. So that would go to the building department. And they'll fulfill it. Pat will give you his card.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
For
you.
your time. Okay, we have Evelyn Redding. If you would, please state your address for us.
Evelyn Redding, 7828 Alloway Drive.
Hello.
Thank you all for hearing our concerns. I moved there in August, and the Nuttings moved there in Thanksgiving. So I moved there thinking we were going to agree, the codes for Diamond Head would be enforced, okay? So I strongly disapprove the variance to go to 4 feet instead of 10 feet. I'm also concerned about the enclosure being an eyesore, sitting in my backyard and having to look at it. We don't know how high it will be, I guess. Also, property values, that this could possibly decrease property values with this enclosure. With this new development you're talking about on the first item of the agenda, I doubt you would allow pool enclosures in there, okay? And I did witness right outside my bedroom window the digging of the large hole and the pool standing up 4 feet. I mean, I've never seen a pool constructed like that. 4 feet out of the ground, okay? they did bring in more fill dirt to fill in there. So it makes it slope straight, you know, to my property and to Mr. Rodriguez. And as of today, he still has that overflow pipe coming out of the pool down to my fence, okay? Not draining on his property, but on my property. So I'm hoping that the pool owners will be legally responsible if we do have damage, you know, from water draining from the pool into my yard. Also, he built a extension on his driveway, and which again is right outside my bedroom window. And so then he put AstroTurf around that, so that the water that drains off of that won't be absorbed in his property, but comes over to mine. So I think what I've heard since I've been here, Diamond Head has a lot of drainage problems, and we certainly don't want to add to that through this. So I would ask you to please maintain the code and maintain 10 feet. And if there's any way we can look into the inspection of the pool and why there was no drainage to the road, you know, I'd appreciate any records on that also. So, thank you.
So you can make a public records request for that.
Okay, I'll talk with Mr. Rodriguez and we'll get together.
All right, thank you, Ms. Reddy.
Thank you.
Okay.
Commissioners, questions?
Also would like to state that both, let's see,
Were there other neighbors that,
both Miss Russell, right? Redding. I was close. Miss Redding and the Rodriguez both submitted letters. You have copies of them in your
Yes.
packet there. Submitted emails through their council member, Councilman Clark, where they expressed their concerns and expressed their desire that they wanted the variance to not be passed, to not be approved. So that'll be permanent part of the record, and you have it in your package there. Any questions from me, commissioners?
I have,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Do we have do you know, is there a height that you know already, or? I think one of the concerns
15
was
feet.
eyesore and how high it would be.
It's gonna be the height of the eave. I don't know what that is.
I believe that's 15 feet.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that's within
Yes.
ordinance. Okay.
So were it not for the variance with the distance from the property line, it would fall within normal ranges?
Yes. The problem is the ordinance for the pool allows it within 4 feet of the property line. And that's the concrete apron or whatever they use, okay? Within 4 feet. So, in order to utilize that concrete apron, it has to be within 4 feet of the property line. The pool and the pool meets the requirements of the setback.
Right, the pool and the deck meet the requirements.
Right, the pool meets it. Now, the pool enclosure being attached to the house does not meet the 10-foot setback for residential structure.
But it would meet requirements if it were not for the setback?
That's correct.
Okay,
That's correct.
all right. Any further comments
The city council has to approve or reject this recommendation.
That is correct, and that's,
Have they acted on this at this point?
No,
No, they're waiting for
no.
a
We
recommendation.
recommend.
yeah.
Waiting for a recommendation from y'all.
This body is a recommended body only, it's not a final decision maker. Whatever the recommendation that comes out of here will be on the city council meeting on September the, what's that, 3rd? 3rd. Yes, 3rd. So that'll be on September, the city council makes the final decision on that. And everyone is more than welcome to come and attend that and express your feelings, pro or con, on that.
If I recall, we have made recommendations prior for the same type of setback, right?
Correct. Correct. Would you like for me to read the staff recommendation?
Please do.
Okay, thank you. Oh, here it is. Okay. The staff recommends to approve the variances petition. As y'all well know, we have to answer a series of questions here in the affirmative in order to grant a variance. The first one is that special conditions and circumstances do exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved and which are not applicable to other land structures or buildings in the same district. As you've seen from the geoportal, the lot is pie-shaped and narrows to 40 feet at the rear of it there. So it's wide on the front and narrow on the back. Little interpretation of the provisions of this title would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same zoning district under the terms of this title. There are many other screen enclosures in R6. Similar variances have been approved in the past. Special conditions, circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. Again, we go back to the pool. Decking can be 4 feet from the property line. That the granting of the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by this title to other land structures or buildings in the same zoning district. And the variance will represent the minimum variance to afford relief and will represent the least modification. Variance does observe the spirit of the ordinance, will not change the character of the district. It will observe the spirit of the comprehensive plan and not result in any change or use indicity of the subject property.
All right.
Any other questions?
All right.
Does Commissioner Nico have any?
Christie?
Any questions, Christie?
No.
Thank you.
I think we got a long delay there.
Yeah, no kidding. She must be a long ways off.
Yeah.
All right. Can I get a motion to either approve or deny this variance?
I'll make a motion to recommend that we approve the variance, make the recommendation to the council to approve the variance,
And to accept the,
and to accept
Staff
the findings of the staff.
the findings of the staff report.
Yes, second.
I'll second.
All right.
Rain in seconds.
We'll need a roll call vote.
Well, may I say something first?
Sure.
Unfortunately, as far as the drainage situation, I really hate to see that because that is a situation we have in Diamond Head. Whether or not there was a drainage plan submitted before they built the pool, I have no idea. Like they said, you can go to public records and see if you can get that information or not. And I do have one sticking point that has nothing to do with the variance, but I'm gonna, say something to Mr. Nutting, cause my mom's having an issue with the next door neighbor with the pool drainage overflow, drains into her yard, and it's killing the grass. And we have asked them to please reroute it to your yard or whatever. So if you could look into that, see if you can do something else for that drainage.
reroute that.
Right. So, other than that, yeah, I don't think as far as the variance goes, you know, we can't use the drainage to, you know, either deny or accept, so. So,
All right.
Commissioner Parrish,
Accept.
Commissioner Nepo,
Yeah.
Commissioner Raymond,
Accept.
Commissioner Hallwood,
Yes.
Commissioner Bennett,
yes.
Chairman DeBrun.
Yes.
All right, and again, for everyone, that is a recommendation. It will go to the city council for final approval on September 3rd.
If I may make one more comment. You've brought out some things that caused me to have some concern regarding the drainage, the overflow. Mr. Nutting has said he'll reroute that. I'm interested in seeing how that will be rerouted. So as we go back and look at these permits, I mean, the natural topography there shows that it drains that way. So if there are some things that can be done that can slow that drainage down or something like that, we'll take a look at that because I do understand your concerns. So we'll take a look at the drainage and make sure that if something needs to be done, that we can remediate that and make it better. If you go to the microphone, please. I'm sorry.
I do appreciate that. I do think that, though, it is, for future projects, yes. But for this one, we had an opportunity, we being the inspection department, had an opportunity to, when I brought it to their attention, to ask those very questions. What is your drainage proposal process? And it could have all been mitigated. Now, if the gentleman in the back is going to fix it, it's a heck of a lot more costly to do it now than it was then, because nothing was in place, not even the concrete around the pool or the side, but fixing the overflow pipe, and it only looks to be about a 1-inch pipe,
Right.
maybe 3/4. It's going to prevent, chemicals or salt water from coming on the property, but not the drainage issue itself. Thank
Correct.
you.
So I understand that. Unfortunately, we can't go back in time and change that, but we can all learn from it. And if there's something that can be done, we can recommend that be done. Well, I don't know that. I'm just, okay. All right, I'm sorry.
All right, next item on the agenda, City of Diamond Head will hold a public hearing on a proposed text amendment to ordinance Article 9, Administrations. The purpose is to add architectural review for commercial properties to the Planning Commission responsibilities. The case file number is 2024-00377. Do we have any discussion regarding that?
Okay, as you well know, the city council sent this to the planning commission for us to come up with a way to add this responsibility for architectural review for commercial properties to the Planning and Zoning Commission. So we've come back with a text amendment that adds that responsibility and adds a responsibility to us to make a recommendation to the planning commission, just like we make a recommendation in our staff reports. All right? So our intent is to make this a permanent agenda item, add it to the agenda. We'll do it in our monthly meetings, and if we have something, we'll do it. And if we don't have something, then we won't do anything on that. But it'll be the same process that the staff will put together a report to you saying that here's what we looked at and what the design, oh, thank you very much, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming out. That's up to you. Oh, well, in that case, my boss would urge me to say, thank you for being here. We appreciate your service and hope to, we can use you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, where was I? I was on a great roll. All right, so the proposed text amendment will do that. And I included all this in here where we've added that to the design review committee. I don't know where I was going with this.
So what he's recommending a very simple change to our new zoning ordinance that simply has, when we're talking about design and review standards, so this is on page 19 of your packet. So when we're talking about those, Article 9 of the new code, the design and standards and review, that review committee, which is made up of administration, when they go through everything, rather than them just being the ones to sign off, that everyone has to do a final check with y'all. So it will be recommended to y'all when the administration is satisfied they've met the design standards, they'll okay it with a recommendation to come to y'all. You guys will then look at it and say, yep, they did what they were supposed to do. So it just gives that extra set of eyes on everything, and you guys will be for final approval. So the way it would work then is if the applicant, if for some reason after Pat's recommendation you all decide, hey, it's still not, we don't believe it has met the standards, the applicant, your decision would be final unless the applicant appealed your decision to the city council. If you agreed with the recommendation and you agreed that the applicant had met the architectural standards, we would be done. They move on to the next step, whatever it is, with respect to their building. So
these meetings are going on already where we have the various departments come in, okay, for things that are going on in the city, but especially for commercial properties, because you have to make sure that we provide the services that are required for this development. But the building department is the one that goes through and says, okay, are the ordinance met? Okay, are the setbacks met? And are these buildings, do they meet the design criteria that's set forth in the ordinance? So we'll go through that, and then we'll send you the report that says, yes, they did, no, they didn't. Then you come back and say, yay, or you come back and say, well, I'm not feeling real good about this, how about this, et cetera. So you could send it back to the staff with your recommendations for us to review them.
You could just make the changes right here at this level. So if you for example, you see one thing and say, hey, we got an issue with this, so we recommend approval with this change or whatever it may be. So what we envision procedurally for this to work is we'll have on the agenda every month a architectural review category. And if there are items, they'll be automatically put on it. If there's no commercial development, there's none that are on the agenda that month, you just won't have it. But that's what we'll do. It'll be a category that you guys will have. It's an additional work, so your pay will be increased.
Doubled.
People
Questions?
believe you when you say that.
Well, 2 times 0 is still 0.
They do. So for the record, your pay's nothing.
Thank you for the record. Thank you for placing that on the record.
Guess what? Y'all don't have any spending authority.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is not gonna require a separate meeting, right?
No, no.
No.
We make it part of the regular, when we have something for the agenda for the planning commission, it will be on there. It's a regular agenda item. No, nothing separate, no special meeting, none of that. Because there's a lot that go, in the site and plan review, there's a lot, as you well know, there's a lot that goes into that, okay? So we can get the design part done very quickly and to you. So you can say yes or no, or let's do this, whatever. But you are the final authority in that.
And you'll forward that as part of our packet?
Yes,
All right.
yes. Business as usual.
Yeah, so you'll get it, by that Tuesday before the meeting, so you'll
Right.
have plenty of
Right.
time, and we'll give notice, just like we, it'll
Like
be on the
previous
website.
Tuesday
it'll
or the
be-
Tuesday.
Oh, that cuts deep,
So-
you know?
That hurts, Pat.
So this, initially was, so it says administration at the top,
Right.
and then design standards and review,
Mm-hmm.
responsibilities. The duties of the Site and Design Review Committee shall include, but not necessarily be limited to, the following: review and recommendation of pre-application development. And then, okay, and then B, and then C, review of variance requests and make recommendations to Planning Commission, which is us.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay,
will.
so we're just performing two separate. like, what
Yeah, I mean,
the
potentially
Plan and
there
Design
may.
Review Committee is us,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
Go
Step
ahead,
to the
Bob.
microphone.
Does that make
Bob's
sense what I'm saying?
Bob's gonna help us
The
out.
way that's,
The way it's
the way
worded.
that's written, that's a variance from the design standards.
Sure,
So that's what it's addressing there.
yeah. So you're gonna change that, or are you still gonna refer to us as two separate entities?
So if someone knows, hey, our design standards just don't meet the code, they're gonna ask for a variance. That comes before you all. You make a recommendation, just like a variance, and the council will be approving it. If they're not asking for a variance, if they're following the rules, they get a recommendation without any variances to it, it goes just to you for final
Right.
approval.
Okay, so when it refers to the Site Design Review Committee, that's us.
Okay, you talk 9.64, okay?
Sorry.
No, the Site Design Review Committee is the
Administration.
administration. Correct. Yep.
All the various departments, fire department, water sewer district,
Okay,
our engineer, building department, zoning administrator, and the city manager.
Yep.
okay,
And
thank
these
you.
meetings are going on as
Yes.
we speak,
Yep.
okay?
Mhm.
So they really will not be looking, this group will not be looking at the design standards,
Right.
because they don't care. It's not under their purview.
Mhm.
I'm not saying they don't care. It's not under their purview. When we get down to the design standards, adding that to your responsibility as the decision maker in that, to say, yes, this meets the design standards, or no, it doesn't, we'd like to see this, that, the other.
But
Okay?
that review committee, the administration will be looking at it to make that recommendation to you all.
Okay.
So,
It's just like a staff report. If you don't like my staff report, then you can modify it, change it, reject it, whatever you want to do with it.
All right, so do we need to vote on this?
Yes, we do need, because then once you say that you recommend to the council that we pass this text amendment in order to accomplish what they desired us to do, then it will appear on their agenda for the 3rd.
All right.
and before we do that, just real quick, because we did open this as a public hearing, there are no residents here to speak on this proposed text amendment. Is that correct? Now, do you want to speak? Go ahead. Come on. Come on. We do have someone to speak. Go ahead. Identify, state your name and then identify your address, please.
Hi, Hugh Grotowski, 758 Augusta Way.
Hi.
How would we prevent this architectural review from just becoming a veto to, I guess, for y'all in the city council to just veto developments they don't like?
May I address that question, please?
You can or I will. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll give you the first crack at it.
Okay. Design standards to be followed are addressed in the ordinance. Okay? It says in there, colors are earth tone and it should be, the parking lot shouldn't be street facing or whatever. So it has the design standards in there. And that's section 5.7. So in our review, just like in our review of any commercial project, we would look at the design standards and say, yes, it does meet it, or no, it doesn't. But you are saying, does it meet these standards? And then if it doesn't meet it, then you say, this is what was required to meet it.
Okay.
So it's specific to that and not, I understand your concern, is specific to that and not the overall development. It's just to the design portion of it.
So it's fairly objective.
It
Yes.
is. And so the standards are in there just like with anything else. If you can't have a building that's 35 feet tall, if your building's over 35 feet tall, you've got an issue. But if it's under, you're fine. So, you know, I do understand the concern. In the past, we've had some issues where, you know, we didn't have these standards in place. So the way that this will work is if you meet the standards, you get the recommendation. This committee should, essentially what they're doing, think about it, the Taco Bell is a great example. I don't know how many of y'all were here with the Taco Bell.
I was not.
The Taco Bell, the only issue before the commissioners that eventually made its way to the council was, do they have enough queuing lanes in their drive-through? Taco Bell was allowed by right to be here. They'd done everything else they needed to do. That was the one question. That was the only question. But you'll recall, those of you that were here, that we had an audience full of people that they vote no on Taco Bell. And that's the concern that I think Hugh is getting to here is what is to prevent that from this being a referendum on, hey, I don't like Taco Bell anyway. I'm not picking on Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell. But I don't like Taco Bell anyway, and this is my opportunity to voice my displeasure. The standards are built in. You have to, by your oath, your duty is to apply the standards, just like the councils. So, once that recommendation is made that they've done what they're supposed to do, I'm not saying y'all are a rubber stamp, but essentially your job is to just check the boxes. Are the, for the Taco Bell example, were there enough queuing lanes? Yes. You're done. Again, the issue for us as a city is going to be educating the residents when these cases do come up that, no, this is not an example, this isn't a referendum on whether we're getting this business or not. It's just, have they met the design standards? It's a yes or no question. So, but that, I think you can tell me if that gets to your question or not, but.
That answers it. All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Good question.
Tell your daddy to come next time.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah.
We're not going to make a recommendation to you all. The recommendation will always be to approve because we're not putting it on the agenda if they haven't done, in that committee's opinion, if they haven't done what they're supposed to do. So, again, you guys will be the ultimate gatekeepers to decide, yes, they did their job. But you're not going to get one on there where they're not making a recommendation to approve. It's going to get kicked to the next month until they've done what they're supposed to do.
All right. Any other comments from the commissioners? All right. Next city council meeting is Tuesday.
How about a motion to
Recommend.
Oh,
accept?
yeah, we need to do that, don't we?
Motion to recommend the text amendment.
Right.
I make a motion to accept the proposed text amendment for the administration and planning and design review.
Okay.
Second.
Okay.
All right.
Tammy?
Roll call.
Parrish.
Mr. Parrish. Yep. Commissioner Parrish.
Commissioner Parrish.
I have to learn to say that instead of first name.
Commissioner Parrish,
Yes.
Commissioner Nico,
Yes.
Commissioner Raymond,
Yes.
Commissioner Harwood,
Yes.
Commissioner Bennett,
Yes.
Chairman DeBro.
Yes.
That recommendation will also go to the next council meeting.
All right, any further comments? The next city council meeting, Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024. Next planning commission meeting is Tuesday, September 24th, 2024. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move.
Second.
Okay. Roll call.
Commissioner Parrish,
Aye.
Commissioner Nico,
Aye.
Commissioner Raymond,
Aye.
Commissioner Harwood,
Aye.
Commissioner Bennett,
Aye.
Chairman DeBro.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you.